channel. Back to our Riverpod tutorials. So in today's tutorial, we'll be going through how to save your app state with Riverpod. So we'll just open my browser right here. So we have this package we'll be using hydrated Riverpod. So let's get started. Hydrated. So hydrated Riverpod is an extension to the Riverpod state management library, which automatically persists and restores Riverpod states. So on to the implementation, how you can save the state. So I'll be creating a dark mode application so that you can just visualize how we'll do that, how you can persist state. So yeah, let's go to our desktop, Flutter, create Riverpod persistence. So persisting your state comes in handy. For example, if you're trying to save something like a bearer token for your APIs, or the authentication token, or just saving user details on device, or instead of using the shared preferences and stuff, I feel like this more organized way of storing this data, and I really think you guys should try it out. So I'll just navigate into the folder just created. And open it in our code editor of choice. For me, it's Visual Studio Code. You can use Under Studio or whatever you prefer. There it is. Very nice. So we have quite a few packages we'll be installing. First of all, we need to install Flutter Riverpod. Then we need to install hydrated Riverpod. Then we need to install path provider so that you can be able to get the directory where we want to store the state. Path provider. Let's save it. Okay. So let's get started. Let me just increase my font. So we'll just clear everything and start it from afresh. So let's create a new stateless my application. Let's return let's create an iOS app. Let's run it on iOS. Let me start my iPhone 13 Pro Max. I don't know which is my simulator. I think it's the iPhone 13 Pro Max. That will be the emulator I'll be using. So I'll be switching between Android and iOS, just because Flutter is cross-platform. So yeah. So let's define the app's properties. Let's get the theme. Cupertino. Cupertino theme data. Brightness. Let's this is where the Riverpod comes in. So let's create a provider which handles the dark state of this the dark mode state of this application. So dark mode provider, which extends state notifier, set notifier, it will be holding a boolean. So if it's true, the app will be in dark mode. If it's false, the app will be in light mode. Yes. So in this case, in this case, I can just define here the brightness to be so as you can remember in our previous tutorial, you need to convert this into a consumer widget so that you can be able to access our providers from within the widget. So brightness will use ref. So ref.watch constantly watches for the changes in any provider, and first before we continue with that, we'll have to declare a global dark mode provider. Let's start this name with a small letter, equals state notifier, set notifier provider, return dark mode provider. So the initial state should be false. Then I'll have to define here the types. So inside our ref.watch, you can use dark mode provider. Since it's a boolean state, if the dark mode provider, the value in the dark mode provider is true, in that state if the value is true, we'll use brightness. Else yes, like that. Very nice. So let's define a home variable, a home parameter, which will be, let's just use a Cupertino page scaffold. Let's import child. Let's give it a child, which will be a center. So let's run the app in our iOS simulator and see how it is. So I have all these dependencies installed. So I have Xcode tools installed for my iOS development, and Android Studio tools installed. So I'll be switching between devices because I think that's the whole concept of Flutter. It's very powerful in that area. So yeah, so let's give it a minute or two so that it can run on our device and see. No provider scope found. So for this error, we'll just have to wrap this with the provider scope. And then restart the application. There it is. As you can see, the app is in dark mode. If I change the value to true. The app is in light mode right now. Change the value to true. If I restart it, it's in dark mode. Yeah. So the app will be starting out in light mode. In light mode, yeah. So as much as we have this initial state, we can override this initial state by retrieving whatever state is stored on the app. So for example, let me just create a button right here. Wrap with widget. On pressed. Let's use that. Let's create the toggle method in here. So what toggle will do, it will just change the state. Since it's a boolean, you can just use not state. And for it to be accessed, you have to include the notifier modifier. Okay, that's it. So this now a button. If I tap on it, it will be changing the app from dark to light, as you can see. So now I've changed the app to dark theme. What happens if I restart the app? The app will restart in light mode. So the whole idea of persistence is to make sure that our state is retrieved from storage, and yeah, so that it can be accessible, so that users' settings or the setting of the user can be saved. So we'll go on, we'll just stop the application and go back to the hydrated Riverpod documentation. Where it is. So in the main method, we have to do some initialization. So let's just copy these 3 lines, go back to our main method, make it asynchronous, paste the method right there, import hydrated Riverpod. For the storage directory, let's use await get application document directory. Let's just store it in the applications document directory. The storage here. There it is. So we have initialized the app, then the storage, then yeah, let's go back to our provider, which is down there. So let's convert this to a hydrated state notifier, and it will require us to create 2 more overrides, which will basically from JSON it will save. So basically how hydrated Riverpod stores this how it stores these states, it's as maps. So you can read more about maps. I'll not go through that, it's in this tutorial, but you can read more about maps. So in this case, we'll just have to save it. How do we save it? We save it by saving that value as a value of a key in a map. So we'll just have to return an empty map. So let's define a map here. Let's give the key a value. Let's just say state. The key to be the value and state. So it will be saving this state. Whatever state will be stored, it will be saving this on device. Then from here, we'll try to access this. Return like that. So yeah, that's how you'll be able to retrieve it from the storage, and this is how you'll be able to store it from the storage. So once I run the app right now, so remember to share this video and like, and also your comments will help me grow the channel better, and yeah, it will basically make me a better tutor for this tutorial. Yeah. So now we have it. Once I press this to turn it to dark mode, Once I restart the application, the app will start in dark mode. If I change it to light mode, the app will stay in light mode. So let me just switch the app to dark mode and then stop the app, then run it again. The app started in dark mode. So we've been able to save this state, and yeah, this will be important in our next in future tutorial, where we'll be able to try to save like user settings, or maybe you're trying to save something that you'll need to use it later on in the app. So this is how you do it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.